Hello everybody, this is Virendra Pratap Singh, and in this second video for civil services interview preparation, I would be talking about your DAF and vis-a-vis UPSC requirement that UPSC has detailed through its Gazette notification. We have already discussed about these requirements in our previous video. So in this video, what we would be covering, we first would quickly recap all those UPSC requirements that we had discussed in previous video. Then we'll go to DAF points and we'll try to analyze what it reflects. Then we'll talk about do's and don'ts in while filling your DAF form, and then we'll take a quick look at couple of DAF forms, sample forms. So what what civil services interview demands? Let's quickly recap. It actually tries to judge your mental caliber, your intellectual qualities, and your social traits and your interest in current affairs. UPSC has detailed 6 personality traits or qualities. What are those? Mental alertness, critical power of assimilation, clear and logical expression, balance of judgment, variety and depth of interest, ability for social cohesion and leadership, and your moral integrity. We have talked in detail about these qualities. This interview would be intended to reveal your mental qualities, these qualities that we have talked just now. Now, what would be the interview process? It would try to judge the candidate about their intelligent interest in the events which is happening around them in their state, their country, about the events related to modern current of thoughts, in new discoveries, which should arouse interest in well-educated youth. That's what it says. Now, what would be interview methodology? Basically, it would not be a cross-examination, but it will be purposive and directed conversation. So whatever question that interviewer would ask would be directed to reveal your personality, your traits, your personality traits. So either they would direct, or you will have an opportunity to direct your interview to reveal your own qualities, your best qualities. So you could present your best self. Now let's see how these qualities can get reflected through your DAF form. The first thing that comes is your address. You write your present address or the communication address, your permanent address. What could this address reflect? Well, when you write in your address, it talks about your state, your permanent communication address. So when you write your address, interviewer would be well interested to know how much you are aware about your surrounding, your state, your city, and what is that awareness? That awareness includes recent news, political and social system, the social structure, cultural system, and historical perspective. Your unique perspective about your surrounding would actually give an idea about your mental alertness and your curious mind. How curious are you to know about your surrounding? Now let's say you are from Wayanad, Kerala. The moment you interviewer reads that, he will have lots of question. And remember, you have a gold mine here. Why I'm saying gold mine? With the way I said that you should be aware about many perspectives, such as social, cultural, and political, historical perspective. Just I did Google about Wayanad and see what I got. It says historians believe that human settlement existed in this part for at least 10 centuries before Christ. Much evidence of new Stone Age civilization can be seen in the hills throughout the present day Wayanad district. So see, you have got new Stone Age civilization. So when you are from that part of the country which has got rich cultural and historical heritage, you got to know about it. and you must be well prepared. If you are well prepared about these aspects, you can steer your interview in that direction to show your mental caliber, not only your mental caliber but also your curious mind. Now say you are from Uttar Pradesh. Let's take a district, say Ambedkar Nagar. The moment you are saying that you are from Ambedkar Nagar, the instant reaction comes that what's your view about Baba Sahab Ambedkar, his contribution in Indian independence, his contribution in democracy, his views on religion, caste system. Now, the moment you are saying Ambedkar Nagar, one more question comes that naturally this is not the original name of this district. Well, earlier it was Akbarpur. It was district headquarter of Faizabad. So the next obvious question comes, what's your take on name change of cities and places? Recently it's in vogue that government is changing name. Mughal Sarai is changed, Allahabad's name is changed, and so on. There are many places whose name is changed. What's your view? Do you support it? If you support, then why? If you don't support it, then why? Now from your district or city, let's come to the state. You are from Uttar Pradesh, so definitely the question can go into the direction of law and order, education, poverty. Then they also might ask about cow slaughter, Romeo squad. And since UP is such a big state, they might ask you about bifurcation or trifurcation of Uttar Pradesh into smaller states. What's your take on it? Do you support it from administrative perspective or from political perspective? What's your take on it? So that's how you see, that's how question arises. If you are curious, if you are taking keen interest around your about your surrounding, then you naturally get the cue as what questions could come up or can interviewer ask. Now let's move to second aspect, that is extracurricular activity. Let's read out what UPSC has detailed or has asked in DAF form. It reads, please give particulars at university, state, national level in respect of 3 points. University, state and national level in respect of prize, medal and scholarship. They are very particular. Prize, medals and scholarship. They are not talking about participation. The second point comes sports or NCC. They are again very particular. Sports that you have played or participated, NCC whether you have participated or not. They are not talking about NSS. They are not talking about any other cultural group. They are not talking about NSO. They are very particular. Why they are so particular about it? We'll come to it. Third point comes positions of distinction or leadership held in college. You got to understand, you have got to be very serious while decoding these words. It is saying positions of distinction, a position which is coveted, which holds some value, which demands certain personality traits. Not every positions of distinction or leadership held in at college level. I'll come to that. Then it says other extracurricular activities and interests such as hobbies. Primarily they are talking about hobbies. You got to read these points carefully and fill with complete dedication and clarity, because any mistake committed here actually would be killing your time and prospect in the interview. So let's go and try to decode all these points. First point comes, and which is the most confusing one in the minds of candidates. What is the difference between hobby and sports? Let's talk about hobby versus sports. They are common dilemma or questions that I have come across. Students have been asking me certain questions, and that I have tried to summarize. Can hobby and sports be the same? Second point, I do not have a hobby. What should I do? What should I write? Why it is required? I'll come to that. I do have a hobby. I have pursued it, but board asked me questions which were not directly related to the hobby, but they asked about historical perspective and technicalities of this hobby, and I was clueless. Why it happened? why it was required to know about the historical perspective, technicalities of that particular hobby. So what exactly is hobby and why it is required? Then we come to sports. I didn't play any sports and I'm confused why it is required. Why, what personal, so overall, what personality traits do these extracurricular activities portray? Let's try to answer this question one by one. What's a hobby and what is its relevance? So when you talk about hobby, what is hobby? Hobby is something which you pursue out of your own interest. It is to satisfy your creative self. What is your creative self? That doesn't soak your energy, but actually something that energizes you. It is something what you are. What is your inner self? How your inner self operates gets reflected in your hobby that you pursue. So hobby is basically unique aspect of yourself which underlines many qualities of yours, such as emotional stability, mental caliber, then intellectual capabilities and mental alertness. I'll come to that, how it actually gets manifested in your personality. So let's say you have got a hobby of painting. How does it reflect? The moment you're saying that your hobby is painting and you have pursued it, the person in front of you would automatically understand or would get a feel that you have got a personality who has interest in detailing. You get into minute detail of any situation or circumstances or event. At the same time, you have got a instinct of getting a complete picture, because when you're painting, you get a complete picture. At the same time, you get into minute details. Plus, a person who is into painting, who loves doing painting, would definitely be a patient person. He would be very patient. His personality would be very patient. He would be a good listener. He would observe things, and he will have mental alertness, because that's how you notice minute things. Now, when you go to the board and you say that painting is your hobby, and you at the same time you're saying that your body's body language or your posture or the way you are conducting your interview shows that you're aggressive, outspoken, less assimilative, that means there is a disconnect. The moment there is a disconnect, because these qualities cannot be, cannot go hand in hand with a person who loves painting, who has got hobby of painting. So there is a disconnect. Either you have not pursued your hobby seriously, or you actually have not been honest in your DAF form. So that there you are going to lose your point. Now, I do have a hobby. Let's say, I've come across people who have said that I do have a hobby, and board asked me historical perspective and technicality that I had detailed about. Various questions that people have asked me. Why it happened? Especially, two candidates came to me. They had a hobby of cooking and gardening, and they were asked about various technicalities, various historical perspective, how it happened, and what types of gardening are there, or cooking methodology, technicalities are there. Why it is asked? You got to understand couple of more qualities of hobby. When you are pursuing your hobby, you got to be curious about it, because you want to, it's about your inner energy, your inner self. You want to channelize yourself towards something. It's a directed approach. Your personality, your thought is directed towards something. So when you are curious about something, you definitely would like to know more about those things. Plus, you have got a genuine interest in that part. So wouldn't you like to evolve over it? The moment you want to evolve over those qualities, or the talent that you have, you would like to know what is the benchmark, what people have achieved, what are the different ways. So there comes the historical perspective, technicalities. Now, you definitely would have attitude of assimilation. You're doing a painting, you're doing cooking. Wouldn't you like to know more about cooking, different methods and ways? Gardening, which all kind of gardening methods are there? Say you're staying in Delhi. Delhi is reeling under there's pollution. So wouldn't you like to know what gardening system can actually reduce pollution? So definitely they would ask you. So this basically is about knowing your curious mind, your genuine interest, and your attitude for assimilation. Because when you are pursuing hobby, you are trying to you are going for self improvement. So these questions, and answering these questions, you try to tell the board that yeah, you have got this attitude of improvement over whatever you have. Now let's go to the next question. I've come across many students, I mean, like that I've said that he had a hobby of cooking, and they were asked about various cooks. Why did they ask? And what all question can be asked? So naturally, when you're learning, you're trying to improve upon it, you might be asked about, you say, Michelin chef. What is Michelin chef? You're not aware. Who all are the great personalities in cooking? Which technique do they use? Why these techniques are used? Do you know anything called ice cream pakoda? There is this delicacy called ice cream pakoda that is cooked by using liquid nitrogen and gas torch. So if they are asking, they actually want to know how curious are you, how assimilative and how aware are you about your environment, your surrounding, what is happening. Now let's go to the next question. When your interest in sports is tracked, what do they want to track? What does it reflect? Now before answering this question, I would like to draw your attention towards one simple event. Have you seen a kid? You ask a small kid, 5-6-year-old kid, to bring a glass of water, to fetch you a glass of water. What would he do? He would run to the glass, take the glass and come to you running. What does it reflect? It reflects energy in that kid. When we are small, when we are kid, our energy is directed. When a task is given to us, we try to channelize our energy in just one direction. The more we grow, the way we grow, our energy gets channelized in different direction. When your sports is tracked, they try to see how have you channelized your energy. It actually underlines when you are pursuing some sports, it actually underlines that you have tried to channelize your energy. Your energy is channelized in one direction, and it also shows your passion, because how much have you improved. Say you have started playing, say, cricket, and you have participated in inter-college cricket events, or say at national level. At the same time, you're good at academics because you have reached to the interview level. It shows that you have channelized your energy, your body energy, in one particular direction. You are so passionate about it that you have pursued it in such a efficient manner that you reach to that level. At the same time, you're good at academics as well. So this tracking your sports basically underlines the energy that you have and how much is it channelized and how vigorous are you in your approach. Now, what does it reflect when you don't have any hobby or sports? You have not played any sports. I have come across many students who said that, see, I was so busy in my studies that I could not pursue any hobby or sports. What should I do? Why? What does it reflect? It does reflect that you have not tried to channelize your energy. You have not tried to identify yourself. You are not self-aware. Because when you are self-aware, you will know about yourself, your likes and dislikes. You will know about the vigor in you, the potential that you have in you. Not in terms of mental qualities, but also in terms of physical caliber that you have. And have you been able to channelize those qualities, those potential? If you have not followed any sports or hobby, it gives a negative indication about you, that you're not quite self-aware about yourself. Now we come to the next point, and that is importance of leadership position in a board. Because UPSC requirement in DAF, it talks about distinction, position of distinction and leadership positions in college. So when position of distinction, what is position of distinction? A position which is coveted, which requires certain unique trait, personality trait. Not everybody can become that, gain that position. That is the position of distinction. Say in your college, you are president or vice president of student body. It's a coveted post. Everybody wants to become one, and not everybody is allowed to contest as well. Why? You got to have a no all-round personality. You should be good at studies, good in sports, good in extracurricular activities, like you should be good orator, because otherwise you would not be able to win the election. And if you're not good at studies, you would not be allowed to participate in election. So it indicates a overall all-rounder personality, good in everything. So that, no, I've seen many DAF where candidates have written that they have participated in this event, that event. That's not basically position of distinction. You got to remember yourself that what is your aspiration. Just participating in say your mess secretary and you are saying that this is a position of distinction. This shows how low you rate a position, how low is your aspiration. I might sound quite rude, but that's the reality. When it says that position of distinction and leadership, it tries to actually know, interviewer would like to know, what do you consider a position of distinction? Becoming a mess secretary, is it a position of distinction or leadership? Are you leading a team towards something? If yes, then you got to defend there. You got to explain them how do you consider it as a leadership position. They might not ask, but they would invariably they would be judging that. And remember one thing that is very important, that you have got limited time of 20-25 minutes. The more you spend on trivial things, the less you get for revealing your personality traits. It's you who has to reveal your personality traits to the board member, not otherwise. Now, how actually this leadership position translates into your personality assessment? So the moment, see, before you get inside the interview room, the board members would actually have drawn your picture by reading your DAF form. So they would be having a picture of yours. So when you get inside and say you have written that you have held hold many leadership position, the moment you're saying that, they would have a image of a person who's good at academics, good at sports, good in extracurricular activities, like participation in many social events. And when you come inside and they find that you're not good, your body language doesn't reflect good energy, good energetic personality, or you are not very good orator, then there is a disconnect, and this disconnect would severely be penalized. So what exactly, that's what I'm saying, what exactly DAF projects you? It projects a personality, it projects a perception that interviewer would have before you come in front of them. And that personality that they have drawn should be in sync with your own personality. When you go inside, there should not be any disconnect. It should be coherent. Now we come to the do's and don'ts for this DAF filling. It is important for those who are going to appear next year or in subsequent years. It is also important for you all who are going to appear in interview, so that you could take some corrective measures. So try to understand what is asked. Be very specific, because they are very specific. They have asked, I've seen a DAF where a candidate has written, they have asked for sports and NCC, that candidate has written NSS. It was not asked. So be very precise. Only fill what is asked for. Don't digress. Absolutely don't digress. It's better to leave it vacant than writing anything that comes in your mind. Don't blabber, just precise. If they have asked for your leadership position, write the most important one, because that's what your personality is. In case you feel that, okay, I held 4 different leadership positions, I have to write all of them because all are important, then you got to prioritize. This should be the first one. The more the time they are going to invest in reading those points, the less you will get time to project yourself during your question answer in related to different events and different interaction, because you know all board members would be asking questions. The more the time they will invest here, less you will get for other part of the interview. Third point, remember, always restrain from overdoing. Don't try to fill it. This is not an answer sheet. Be precise, be accurate. Remember, your extracurricular activity, your academics, your past job, all are interlinked. They are not discrete events. All are interrelated. Say you have participated in 4-5 sports. How good are you at academics, and how well have you performed in your job? In case you have got some years of work ex. So all are linked. It draws a complete picture. It cannot be a discrete event. Now, again, I would emphasize here that remember, you have got at max 35 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes are given on each candidate. The more precise you are, the better chances that you will get opportunity to reveal about your own personality, about your own self. As I said in the beginning, it is directed and purposive conversation. So either they will direct the interview towards revealing your mental qualities or your personality, or you direct your interview towards your own qualities. You are there to present yourself. You are not there to hide your personal trait. So try to optimize the time that you will get there. So that's the warning from my side. It's a caution, it's a warning. You take it seriously. Now let's see how students have done. Candidates have done. I've got a couple of DAF form here. Let me just present you the first DAF form, and the way I see this particular gentleman is quite all-round, quite an all-rounder personality. But see what he has written. He has written in prize, medal, and scholarship. Remember, here it is written prize, medal, and scholarship. What has he written? Third rank in M.Tech. Is there any award for third rank in M.Tech? If yes, then it's fine. Otherwise, if you are not awarded any medal or any scholarship, any prize, then you are wasting your point here. Second is Ramanujan Medal for Best Outgoing Student. Now you have written in the second point. Say if they take your DAF for evaluation in the end, so this point will totally be missed. They might get missed. They might only see, okay, third rank in M.Tech. So what? He has just blabbered. Ideally, this candidate should have written this best outgoing student point at the first place, because immediately it gives feedback that this particular gentleman has got many facets of his about his personality. Now see what all he has written. First prize English elocution, GATE scholar, USS and NSS scholarship. Okay, scholarship is here. So you got a point here about scholarship. Now when you're saying that you have got 4th rank in PCMSC or state 10th rank, did you get any award for this? If not, then what's the point in writing? And if in case you want to write it, so why did you write your scholarship, LSS, USS and LSS scholarship? When they specifically are asking about scholarship, you should have first written that Ramanujan Medal for Best Outgoing, and then USS and NSS scholarship, and then your first prize in English elocution, and then other points could have come, so that you could give a coherent picture and you could have optimized your all those achievements. Here you have just tried to fill whatever space did you got. Now come to sports and NCC. He's written Kung Fu black belt, very fine. Individual sports champion at college. Which sport did you mention? You have not mentioned which individual sport champion at college. Which sport did you play? Have you taken it seriously? You're filling a form for the most coveted job in this country. Now see, captain Vanna district under 14 cricket team. They have not asked about your captaincy. It's a leadership skill, right? It should have come at the first place. Sorry, in the third point, leadership position. That's a captaincy is the leadership position. It should not have come in sports. You could have written that you played under 14 cricket team for under 14 cricket team. Then you are writing college cricket team. Okay, fine. Now position and distinction leadership held in college. College Union General Secretary. Very fine. It's a leadership position. Convener RO 13. What is this RO? And what is convener? Is it a coveted post? Is it elected post, or it is given to unique personality? If yes, you got to specifically mention there, or you'll have to try to give them this information that yes, this was coveted post. If not, you just have blabbered. And then there are so many. I mean, I would not like to get into all details, but one point I would like to point out here, that this person has written about cricket in sports as well as in extracurricular activity. And see how he has opened Pandora box here. He's written reading as his hobby. What reading? Fiction, non-fiction, news, political, what? Which kind of reading do you are you interested in? Here he has not written. Watching movies. Which movies? English, Hindi, Kannada, Bhojpuri, Malayali, what? You have not mentioned. So that means you are not serious about what is your hobby. Your hobby has to be very precise, very particular, because you are directing, you are channelizing your energy in that direction. Have you given a thought about it? And then playing cricket is your hobby. Playing cricket is your sports also, playing cricket is your hobby also. As I have explained, both are different things and both have different facets. Have you given a thought about it? And there you get, I mean, candidates like this get varied question, and then they get bowled out that they asked me so many questions in different directions, because you have given them a completely scattered personality trait. So that's how they are going to ask. Well, I'm not going to talk about what job he has done. He has got, the job experience, but one important point is that he, after passing out, this person has worked as assistant professor, and then he cleared EPFO. So was this job of assistant professor, was he interested? This guy was all round. This guy portrays himself as all-rounder personality. Was good at academics. That's what he has written. That in academics he got third. He was third in MTech. So didn't he land up with a job, or was this job of assistant professor by choice? If it was by choice, what is propelling him to come for civil services? Now let's see this second DAF form about this candidate. What has this candidate written? Represented university in Jamia national debate. Awarded best performer Cognizance IIT Roorkee. Winner poster making in National Youth Conference. Winner mono act in accolade. Winner nukkad natak Spik Make Dharohar. Now let's try to focus one by one. First, represented. They have not asked about representation. Now when you are saying awarded best performer, what is this Cognizance IIT Roorkee? You got to tell them, or you got to explain that this is a prize or medal or scholarship at university, state and national level. So what is this Cognizance IIT Roorkee? Then winner poster making in National Youth Conference. This is fine. It should have come at the first place. Winner mono act in accolade. What is this mono act in accolade? You got to explain. Then winner nukkad natak in Spik Make. Is it a university or state or national level event? If yes, then it's fine. If not, then you have actually blabbered. You have wasted your energy and time here. Now see the second mistake. It's a blunder here. It has asked sports or NCC. What this candidate has written? NSS B and C certificate holder. Have they asked you about NSS? They have not. So you have wasted your time here. You have wasted your opportunity here. Then position of distinction leadership held in college. What have this candidate written? Organized TEDx. Is it a leadership position? You got to explain. I have my doubt here. Member student council. Member student council, is it a position of distinction? Well, you got to understand, you got to explain. then member of board, editorial board. I mean, the way I see it, this particular candidate has blabbered in this particular place and have not given a serious thought about its, about UPSC requirement and about himself or herself, whosoever this personality is. So naturally, what first impression that I am getting, the similar kind of impression would the board have, and that's where this candidate is going to lose his or her marks. So here we are at the end. Now we are coming to the end of our DAF analysis vis-a-vis UPSC requirement. Till this point, we have covered what UPSC requires in a candidate and how we have tried to decode what are the meaning of those requirements. Now, since UPSC has detailed what it expects in a candidate, there should be a second part also. What do you expect out of UPSC? Quite surprising, right? What do you expect in this job? And from this question comes the $1 million question as why you want to become an IAS. When an interviewer or the board asks you why you want to become an IAS, they basically want to ask you that what do you expect out of this job. We will discuss this question, and also we would get into some different types of interview that you might face, like board is hostile, board is indifferent, board chairman is indifferent, board asked me everything possible on this earth. My interview is going or had gone totally factual. What does this mean? So these are the two important parameters that we would be talking in our third video. Till that time, thank you very much. Do revise it.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civil's Daily.